Hey gamers, I'm Jason Peacock from Jason Talks About Games over on YouTube. Today I'm here to talk about Road to Legend, the co-op app that was released for Descent by Fantasy Flight Games. I'm not going to go too into detail about how the game is played, but it's your typical dungeon crawl. Each player controls a hero, and they get two actions to do on their turn. They can move and they can move further, they can move and they can attack and they can attack, and they can do all sorts of other stuff like put the fire out because they're burning, get rid of the poison that's running through their veins, do some kind of test. So it's you're moving, your movement, you're attacking, you're trying to accomplish different objectives. Now, when I was a young lad, I had a copy of Hero Quest, and I played it a lot, and I loved that concept of a dungeon crawl. Fast forward, I don't know how many years, I get back into gaming, and I think Descent is going to give me that Hero Quest fix. So I got Descent, and one of the expansions, and then it collected dust for the next year and a half, 2 years even. I did get a few games played. The problem with Descent is you need a dedicated group to, keep playing the same campaign. That's a problem. With all these great games, to find a group of people just to play one consistently, it's very difficult to do. So it sat on my shelf as a good idea, but as a practical one, it never materialized for me. I never had that group. So when I heard about an app being made where you can play co-op, I thought, wow, this is wonderful. I can actually get some use out of my Descent stuff. And I did. I finally got to bust out the game with my son and dig my teeth into this. Now, the biggest difference between Descent and Imperial Assault, very similar games with a different theme, is that in Imperial Assault, the heroes activate once, and then one squad of bad guys go, then another hero, then a squad of bad guys. In the base game of Descent, all the heroes do their thing, then all of the monsters do their thing. Now on the co-op version, the major change is that it shifts over to that Imperial Assault style play, where one hero would go, then one monster group, one hero, one monster group. And it's really good they do that, because it would get a bit tedious after activating your heroes for the players to have to control all the monsters and move them and roll for them, do their abilities and stuff like that. Now, there's a tutorial mission in the campaign, but really for me the tutorial mission was the tutorial and then 2 side quests before the main mission, because it really takes a bit of a learning curve to get the behavior of the minions down. How it works is they have a list of actions they'll do. You start with the first one that would apply. For example, run up and engage a hero would be the first thing this monster does. If he's already engaged with a hero, you would go to the next action. That would be like attack the closest hero. And then you can tap on an icon at the top, and when you're in a fight with these monsters, it tells you the order they resolve their surge abilities, which is like their special attack from the little lightning symbol on the dice. So the app handles the map, which is really nice. The app really offers a quick setup time, because you don't have to set up the whole map. You just set up like the room that you're in, kind of like Mansions of Madness. You don't have to. You can get all your tiles out in the beginning, but you only have to worry about putting a few together, a few doors. The app gives you a story overview, maybe some narration, tells you where to put the monsters, and like Mansions of Madness, once the monsters are on the board, after a hero goes, and then a monster gets activated, you follow the behavior of the monsters, and then you tap that the group was activated, and then you go back to the hero. So really the app just keeps track of telling you when events happen in the story, how the map unfolds, when monsters spawn, and any other pearls that might happen. Similar to Mansions of Madness, a game like this needs to have some sort of a timer. So the longer you spend trying to accomplish your mission, the worse events are going to end up happening to you till you end up failing. Now, the main way you fail at this is each group of heroes can get knocked out a certain amount of times depending on the mission. So if the number at the top left is at 2, after your third knockout, the heroes lose. It's game over. So I played this game only with 2 players, me and my son. I can't really comment on how well it scales, but I find 2 is probably what I would prefer to play it with, because the game moves along a lot quicker. With 3 or 4, it's just going to end up taking longer to come around to your turn. And with 2 players, each of the characters gets a free attack, and if they don't attack, they get to heal a couple of points. So my preferred player count is 2 players, but I would happily try this with 3 or 4. So let me start with the things that I don't like about this game. It can get a bit tedious over time controlling the monsters. Especially if there's a whole bunch of different groups, like one guy goes and then you gotta move a couple of different groups, you gotta move them, you gotta attack with, so it's constant dice rolling. If the game was any longer, it would almost be too much for me, but most of the scenarios I've played are, 45 minutes to an hour. It doesn't overstay its welcome, so that's the thing I like about it. It takes a while to get the flow of the app down. 3 games for me, or the tutorial, 2 side quest. Even the tutorial and 1 side quest, and I was pretty good on that second side quest we did. Like most Fantasy Flight games, the rulebook warrants constant trips to the BGG forums, which I can't think of many Fantasy Flight games that don't do that. You go on the BGG forum for Descent, there's like 850 entries for rules alone. There's also a separate rulebook for the app that you can press on the link from the app to go right to it, or just get it on the internet. This game doesn't have the deepest tactics. I mean, yes, there's tactics, there's, decisions like let's stick together, but it's not highly tactical. And like Imperial Assault, a lot of the tactics come from the decisions, using your ability, what abilities to pick. Do you waste an action checking out this search token to hopefully get a healing potion, or do you attack instead? Now dice, this can be a good thing or a bad thing, but the best tactics can get foiled by rotten dice rolling. You're not rolling your defense, you're constantly get beaten up, but you're not going to get a dungeon crawl experience without that. So if you're not into that sort of thing, then you're probably not interested in dungeon crawls anyway, and you're probably not watching this video. Another thing I don't like is that, the app is great, and you can input all of the content you already own into the app, so it'll mix all of that into the campaigns in the app. For the second one I played, for example, I busted all the tiles from the, I don't even remember what it's called, but it used almost all new tiles for this one map because it knew that I had that, which is cool. But you can't use the original campaigns that came with these expansions, which is unfortunate. If there's one thing I would love to see added to this app, is some way to take the existing campaigns and turn those into an app campaign. Now, the good things, like I said, it's quick to set up, quick playtime. Like what I do with all these games, Arcadia Quest or Imperial Assault, is I keep the characters in a little baggie with whatever equipment they have. So you open up the app, get out these tiles, here you go, you dump your dudes out of a bag and you're ready to get started right away. You don't need a reliable group. That's the best thing about this game. If you're like me and it's been sitting on your shelf and you've just hoped, ideally, to get some kind of group, this cures that. And my son and I, we busted it out. We had a great time playing. You travel to the town, you spend your money on items. It keeps track of everything, your money, your fame, which is a new feature. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it affects your story in some way on how well you do in your adventure. I love the fact that, you know, my son and I sitting at home on a weekend night can bust this out and go on these adventures together. We like Mice and Mystics a lot, and if you play Mice and Mystics with your kids or your friends, this takes it up a notch. It's more tactical than Mice and Mystics. It offers more decisions, and it's a little bit of a cleaner design. I like Mice and Mystics, but I find it very fiddly. I like that it integrates content you own, so you're getting use out of everything you've bought for Descent. I mean, there's so much content out for one group to play through all the campaigns is unimaginable. That would have to be the only game they played, and that would certainly never happen for me. The app is free. I like that the app keeps track of everything, so you don't have to bust out, you know, all your Overlord cards and different decks and stuff like that. You just need your class deck, search deck, and item deck, and well, your monster cards as well. If you like Descent, but you don't have a group to play with, then you probably already own this app and you're not watching this. If you're interested in a co-op dungeon crawl, this might be the perfect thing. If you're circling Descent, I give this my recommendation. I think it's very immersive. There's lots of content. They're going to keep making content for this. There's already additional campaigns that you can buy for a reasonable price. I think the one that they're offering is about $6 at the that you buy through the app. So that's a great value for new campaigns, and they're just going to keep coming, so that's good. I'm not going to bother with hero and villain packs and stuff like that, but it's very likely that I'll get one of the big box expansions down the road just to add, you know, more monsters and have more heroes in the mix, that sort of thing. So, Road to Legend, pretty cool, worth checking out. Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.